Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Thank you for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music. Now let's get into some music news. So Sunday was Mother's Day. So a belated happy Mother's Day for all you mothers out there. But the first story of today is about Cher. You know, legendary, iconic Cher. She took to social media on Sunday to share a sweet Mother's Day tribute along with an update on her mom's current health battle. The comment is Mama G and me. The legend captioned a black and white snap of herself as a young girl posing alongside her mother, Georgia Holt, and half-sister George Ann. Mom had to go to the hospital day before yesterday, not COVID-19. She needed infusions, iron, and transfusion, though they say she'll be much better in a few days. The post comes just 2 days after Cher's first musical release of 2020, a Spanish re-recording of her take on ABBA's Chiquita. Originally released as part of the singer's 2018 ABBA cover album Dancing Queen, Cher will be donating all proceeds from the dual language single to UNICEF's coronavirus relief efforts, similar to what the Swedish pop act did with the original version of the song upon its release more than 40 years ago. Now, although Father's Day isn't for another month, Drake received his adorable gift early after his son Adonis said Dada in a new Instagram story posted by the little boy's mother, Sophie Broussat. It's French. Broussaux. But celebrating Mother's Day on Sunday, Broussat shared a video of Adonis trying some new jeans before he called out for his father. In March, fans got their first glimpse of Drake when he first posted photos of his son on Instagram. What is most important for you right now is to connect to your own inner light. This will create the biggest opening of all. Trust that you have all the power within to make this happen. And in order to do that, connect to the people and things that bring you a lot of joy, he wrote endearingly. Now, it's sad to report, seems like almost every week there's an RIP. This week, it's Little Richard. Over the weekend, actually, we lost a couple music legends in the hip-hop world. Andre Harrell passed away, and just music, period. I mean, R&B, doo-wop, I don't know, rock and roll, like just music. You can't talk music without mentioning Little Richard, who passed away on May 9th from bone cancer. He was 87 years old. We will cover his story in the music history segment. Now, up-and-coming rapper Nick Blixey, BLXKY. I'm not familiar with the artist. This is my first time hearing about him. Unfortunately, he was shot and killed in New York on Monday. So it's unfortunate that I'm just now hearing about him, and he literally died today. So the 21-year-old was born. Nicholas Thompson was found with gunshot wounds in front of a building in the Prospect Lefferts Gardens neighborhood of Brooklyn at around 9:30 p.m. Sunday. So he died yesterday, but it was reported today. He was taken to Kings County Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Blixey's Spotify profile says he started rapping for fun with his crew, Blixey Crew, but decided to take it more seriously and pursue a career in hip-hop when fans responded positively to his YouTube videos. On Sunday, Blixey posted that he was preparing to drop his first ever mixtape, Different Timin', on June 3rd. At press time, police have made no arrest in the shooting. Man, these animated soundtracks, they don't be playing no games. They bring out the stars for their soundtracks. So Atlantic Records revealed the cover art and track list for Scooby, the album, on Monday exclusively to Billboard. So upon the upcoming animated Scooby-Doo film will feature a wide array of original collaborations across musical genres from the likes of Lynn and Stella and Charlie Puth. Summer Feelings is actually out right now. Charlie Puth, I guess, did that. Thomas Rhett and Kane Brown with an assist from Ava Max on the song's called On Me, as well as Best Coast covering the original Scooby-Doo theme song. Other rising artists appearing on the track list include Jack Harlow, Pink Sweats, Rico Nasty, and more, featuring the voice talents of Zac Efron, Amanda Seyfried, Gina Rodriguez, and Will Forte as members of the iconic Scooby Gang. Scooby is set to hit video on demand Friday, May 15th. The film's planned theatrical release was scrapped in the wake of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, but Scooby the album is slated to release May 15th via Atlantic Records. Now, a baby girl isn't the only thing Katy Perry is planning to deliver this year. During a Sunday night Facebook live stream, the singer confirmed that her 5th studio album is going to bust through the coronavirus lockdown during 2020. Perry said the follow-up to 2017's Witness will hit your ears in 2020. Pandemic be damned. Definitely have to stay creative, she said while dressed in a green head wrap and matching dress with giant hoop earrings while seated in her lush outdoor garden. In California, you know, there's going to be a lot of rules and ways of doing things. We're not just going to go back to normal, she said during the half-hour chat with fans. Now, Diplo took to social media on Sunday to share a sweet Mother's Day posting confirming the birth of his 3rd son with model Javon King. Thanks for giving me life and helping me create it. The 3 strongest mothers in the world. The DJ captioned a trio of images of his mother, ex-Catherine Lockhart, with whom he shares sons Lockett and Laser Lee Lewis, and King holding newborn Pace. I'm still a work in progress, but you have given 3 perfect, beautiful boys. I love you all to the moon and back. Now, could a collab between BTS and Conan Gray, don't know who the hell Conan Gray is, be on the way? Following a social media love fest between the pop star and the K-pop band, the answers appear to be yes. It all started when Gray retweeted a video from a fan account of BTS member V listening album Cut the Other Side. The song is called The Other Side from his 2020 debut LP Kid Crow. I love you, a bunch of like smiley faces at BTS _TWT. And then the rising pop star wrote, leading V to reply, let's make a song together, smiley face V. And then from the band's official Twitter account, Gray added, I would love to, ... I adore y'all, ! The pop star and the idols then took their friendship to the next level, making it social media official by following each other on the platform. So yeah, obviously there wasn't much news to report if I just reported that semi-weak story. So we'll take a break and return with new music news.
You really can't underestimate the importance of having the right creative work for your brand or your product. Whether it's a logo, a website, a book cover, or an ad campaign, you really need a quality design to make that big difference pop and deliver your overall engagement and success in a competitive market. That's where Design Crowd comes in. Design Crowd has over 750,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco, ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. They make crowdsourcing work for you. So if you need a logo or you're working on your creative branding, you can go to designcrowd.com and post a brief describing the design you need. And then within about 2 to 7 days, you'll receive up to over 100 different designs from designers around the world. Then you pick the best design and approve payment to the designer. So you're only paying for the design that you want. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of freelancing and out of crowdsourcing. And you don't have to be a huge company like Harvard Business School to use Design Crowd, although they have used it as well. You can start a project on Design Crowd for as little as $99. And if you go right now to designcrowd.com/health and wellness or enter the promo code health and wellness on their website, then our health and wellness listeners will receive up to $150 off of your design project. That's designcrowd.com/health and wellness or entering that promo code health and wellness.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown. Now it's time for new releases. New album releases. We have, I'm assuming it's Nav, N-A-V, with Good Intentions, Hayley Williams, Petals for Armor, Kalani, It Was Good Until It Wasn't, Bad Bunny, La Que No Iban A Salar, Lil Durk, Just Cause Y'all Wanted To, Lil TJ, State of Emergency, Haley Steinfeld, Half a Written Story. Hot new singles, Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber, Stuck With You. I liked that jam. Bad Bunny, Beneficians, Kehlani and Tory Lanez, Can I? That was a good jam. Nav and Lil Uzi Vert, Status, Jamie XX, I Don't Know You, Lil TJ, Zoo York, Don Toliver, After Party. Now on to tours and festival news. Here's what has been newly canceled. The 1975 have canceled their massive Finsbury Park show. For now, keep it safe, keep healthy, and look after each other, read a statement shared to the band's social media. The event was set to take place on July 11th at the London Park location. Pitchfork has canceled its annual music festival. It can be pretty daunting to think about the future of live music right now, but know that we are fully committed to bringing Pitchfork Music Festival back in 2021 if the public health situation allows for it. In the meantime, we urge everyone to follow local health department guidelines. May 5th, Global Citizen in Teneo announced Global Goal Live, The Possible Dream, the year-long campaign and multi-city series of events meant to drive impact for the world to achieve the United Nations Global Goals will take place on September 26, 2020. The campaign will extend into 2021, and the major events will be postponed to September 25th, 2021. Jack Antoff announced that his Shadow of City Festival has been rescheduled for May 29th, 2021. You all know the reasons why, and that if there was any way to safely keep it, we would have. So why all the way to May 2021? Because I don't want to mess around. In all our research, that is a date that is truly realistic, and this show can't be a moving target. So here's what's streaming. June 6th, Lady Gaga, BTS, and Barack Obama are set to give a commencement speech during YouTube's Dear Class of 2020 virtual commencement. The event will also feature appearances by Alicia Keys, Kelly Rowland, and more. The schedule will be announced May 17th. The event will be streamed on YouTube. May 24th, the annual National Memory Day concert that traditionally airs from West Lawn of the U.S. Capitol will switch to a virtual event hosted by Joe Mantegna and Gary Sinise. The PBS concert will feature new performances and tributes filmed around the country to honor the military as well as heroes on the front line of the pandemic crisis. Among those appearing will be General Colin Powell, Cynthia Erivo, Renee Fleming, Trace Adkins, Cece Williams, Kelly O'Hara, Mary McCormick, and the National Sympathy Orchestra, Lawrence Fishburne, Issa Morales. It's a lot of people. Starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the concert will stream on Facebook, YouTube, and on PBS. May 21st, Blake Shelton, Gwen Stefani, One Republic, Ellie Goulding, Steve Martin, and the Steep Canyon Rangers, Sam Smith, James Taylor, Meghan Trainor, and Tina, the Tina Turner musical, Adrienne Warner, are all set to perform for this year's Red Nose Day special, which begins at 9 p.m. on NBC. May 18th, John Bon Jovi, Dolly Parton, Meryl Streep, and other big names are set to perform for a night of Covenant House Stars. This is a live stream concert benefiting the Covenant House charity. The show kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a new streaming service, which is called Broadway On Demand. Everybody got a streaming service, but Broadway On Demand, actually, that's legit. That's something I can rock with, because I can't get to Broadway. I went to Broadway once, saw Color Purple with Fantasia, but I'm on the other side of the country, so Broadway On Demand, that sounds lit. May 16th, Tones and I, Missy Higgins, Pierce Brothers, and the Jezebels are among the artists lined up for the inaugural Recharge 2020 Festival. The partnership of the streaming event specialists delivered live in Victorian government. The virtual concert is said to represent the best of Victoria, from its farms to its pubs, from its I don't know that word. But it's supposed to be the best of Victoria, whatever that means. So it's going to be YouTube, streamed on YouTube from 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, May 17th. Yeah. Okay. We got a lot of streaming stuff. Roberta Flack. This is all going to be May 16th as well. We got Roberta Flack will be hosting a live listening party of her songs. The event will kick off at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhino's YouTube page. That's R-H-I-N-O, spelled just like Rhino. Will benefit Feed the Children. And May 15th, Miley Cyrus is scheduled to perform her song The Climb during Facebook and Instagram Celebrate the Class of 2020 event in honor of the graduating seniors who have had their commencement ceremonies canceled. And it will also feature Words of Wisdom. This kills me. Words of Wisdom from Lil Nas X, Aquafina, and others. As well as a commencement speech by Oprah Winfrey. Let's just say Words of Wisdom from Oprah. Lil Nas X, he can make a pop song, but I don't know about Words of Wisdom. I mean, he's the same age as these kids. How much wisdom does he have over them? May 14th, Josh Groban continues his series of movie nights featuring a screening of his past concert films as well as a simultaneous Q&A with Groban and his running commentary on his YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. May 12th, Jane Lynch remotely hosts NBC's Hollywood Game Night with Nick Jonas, Kristen Bell, Kenan Thompson, competing against John Legend, Sean Hayes, and Rita in a series of pop culture games at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. May 11th, Bon Jovi, Billy Joel, Mariah Carey, and Sting will perform for Rise Up New York, a citywide virtual telethon to raise awareness and funds to help New Yorkers impacted by the COVID-19. And it will begin at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CNBC nationally and on New York City stations. Tim McGraw will perform his new single, I Called Mama, live for the first time, as well as some fan favorites on Amazon Live at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's hella early. Oh, it's the afternoon for the East Coast, but that's early. Like, I'm not waking up to watch a live stream. But McGraw's performance kicks off a series of performances and intimate conversations with artists on Amazon Live. Amazon Music and Amazon Live have also collaborated with McGraw to help bring awareness to the World Health Organization's COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund and the Music Cares COVID-19 Relief Fund for the live stream. So we'll take a break and return with music history with...
You really can't underestimate the importance of having the right creative work for your brand or your product. Whether it's a logo, a website, a book cover, or an ad campaign, you really need a quality design to make that big difference pop and deliver your overall engagement and success in a competitive market. That's where Design Crowd comes in. Design Crowd has over 750,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. They make crowdsourcing work for you. So if you need a logo or you're working on your creative branding, you can go to designcrowd.com and post a brief describing the design you need. And then within about 2 to 7 days, you'll receive up to over 100 different designs from designers around the world. Then you pick the best design and approve payment to the designer. So you're only paying for the design that you want. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of freelancing and out of crowdsourcing. And you don't have to be a huge company like Harvard Business School to use Design Crowd, although they have used it as well. You can start a project on Design Crowd for as little as $99. And if you go right now to designcrowd.com/health and wellness or enter the promo code health and wellness on their website, then our health and wellness listeners will receive up to $150 off of your design project. That's designcrowd.com/health and wellness or entering that promo code health and wellness.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. Now let's get into music history with Little Richard, according to allmusic.com. One of the original rock and roll greats, Little Richard merged the fire of gospel with New Orleans R&B, pounding the piano and wailing with gleeful abandon. While numerous other R&B greats of the early 50s had been moving in a similar direction, none of them matched the sheer electricity of Richard's vocals. With his bullet speed deliveries, ecstatic trills, and the overjoyed force of personality in his singing, he was crucial in upping the voltage from high-powered R&B into the similar yet different guise of rock and roll. Although he was only a hitmaker for a couple of years or so, his influence upon both the soul and British invasion stars of the 1960s was vast, and his early hits remained core classics of the rock repertoire. Heavily steeped in gospel music while growing up in Georgia, when Little Richard began recording in the early 50s, he played exceptional jump blues R&B that owed a lot to his early inspirations, Billy Wright and Roy Brown. In 1955, at Lloyd Price's suggestion, Richard sent a demo tape to Specialty Records, who were impressed enough to sign him and arrange a session for him in New Orleans. This session, however, didn't get off the ground until Richard began fooling around with a slightly obscene ditty during a break. With slightly cleaned up lyrics, Tutti Frutti was the record that gave birth to Little Richard as he is now known. The gleeful woos, the furious piano playing, the sax-driven pedal to the metal rhythm section. It was also his first hit. Although ridiculous as it now seems, Pat Boone's cover version outdid Richard's in the hit Parade. So Pat Boone's Tutti Frutti outdid Little Richard's? Okay. Boone would also try to cover Richard's next hit, Long Tall Sally. But by that time, it was evident that audience, black and white, much preferred the real deal. See, I'm just, it's kind of just infuriating just knowing music history and how a lot of music was just stolen from black artists or just redone, and yeah. But I digress. Let's keep talking about Little Richard. So at least fans recognize that Little Richard's versions are better. So Pat Boone, go sit your behind down somewhere where make up your own stuff. And stop covering Little Richard and other black people. But here we go. In 1956 and 1957, Richard he reeled off a string of classic hits. We got Long Tall Sally, Slippin' and Slidin', Jenny Jenny, Keep a Knockin', Good Golly Miss Molly, The Girl Can't Help It, that remained the foundation of his fame. While Richard's inimitable mania was the key to his best records, he also owed a lot of his success to the gutsy playing of ace New Orleans session players like Lee Allen, tenor sax, Alvin Tyler, baritone sax, and especially Earl Palmer, drummer, who usually accompanied the singer in both New Orleans and Los Angeles studios. Richard's unforgettable appearance in the early rock and roll movies, especially The Girl Can't Help It, also did a lot to spread the rock and roll gospel to the masses. Richard was at the height of his commercial and artistic powers when he suddenly quit the business during an Australian tour in the late 1957s, enrolling in a Bible college in Alabama shortly after returning to the States. Richard had actually been feeling the call of religion for a while before his announcement, but it was nonetheless a shock to both his fans and the music industry. Specialty drew on unreleased sessions for a few more hard rocket singles in the late 50s, but Richard virtually vanished from the public eye for a few years. When he did return to recording, it was as a gospel singer, cutting a few little heard sacred sides of End, Mercury, and Atlantic in the early 1960s. By 1962, though, Richard had returned to rock and roll, touring Britain to an enthusiastic reception. Among the groups that supported him on those jaunts were the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, whose vocals Paul McCartney especially took a lot of inspiration from Richard's. In 1964, the Beatles cut a knockout version of Long Tall Sally, which McCartney on lead, that may have even outdone the original. Here we go again. It's been speculated that the success of the Beatles and other British invaders who idolized Richard finally prompted the singer into making a full-scale comeback as an unapologetic rock and roller. Yeah, because he's like, y'all just making my music and becoming hella famous. Let me just do it. I'm back, y'all. Hooking up with Specialty once again, he had a small hit in 1964 with Bama Lama Bama Lou. These and other sides were respectable efforts in the mold of his classic 50 sides, but taste had changed too much for Richard to climb the charts again. He spent the rest of the 60s in a continual unsuccessful comeback, recording for VJ, accompanied by some sides by Jimi Hendrix, who was briefly in Richard's band. I didn't know that. OK and Modern, for whom he even tried recording in Memphis with sax session musicians. It was rock and roll. It was the rock and roll revival of the late 60s and early 70s, though, that really saved Richard's career, enabling him to play on the nostalgia circuit for great success, though he had a small hit, Freedom Blues, in 1970. He had always been a flamboyant performer, brandishing a 6-inch pompadour and mascara, and constant entertaining appearances on television talk shows seemed to ensure his continuing success as a living legend. Yet by the late 70s, he'd returned to church again. Somewhat predictably, he eased back into rock and show business by the mid-80s. Since then, he's maintained his profile with a role in Down and Out in Beverly Hills. The movie soundtrack also returned him to the charts, this time with Great Gosh Almighty, and guest appearances on soundtrack compilations and children's rock records. At this point, it's safe to assume that he never will get the much hungered for comeback hit, but he remains one of rock and roll's most colorful icons, still capable of turning the charm and charisma into his infrequent appearances in the limelight. In 2017, his debut album, 1957's Here's Little Richard, was given a long overdue reissue, accompanied by a bonus disc of demos and alternate takes. And as we all know, he passed away this weekend. So R.I.P. legend, Little Richard. I loved me some Little Richard as a kid. I remember his music. I remember watching videos of him and his energy, and he was just fun. Like, if Little Richard was on, I was up and dancing. So yeah, R.I.P. legend. I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Until next time, I'm Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.